Our modern world is noisy. From the moment we wake, communications flood our senses.
Morning, sunshine. It's 7 a.m. Here's the latest news.
Federal appeals court freezes.
Most of us face days filled with numerous decisions of who and what gets our attention. Your family needs groceries. Your boss needs that project on her desk first thing in the morning. Your partner is thinking, date night tonight? We're pulled in every direction at a rapid pace. And if we're lucky, we'll get a moment to just breathe. Amid the noise and the moments in between, brands are also fighting for our attention, spending $250 billion on advertisements annually to creatively sell us values and images, concepts of love and sexuality, of success, and perhaps most important, of normalcy. They tell us who we are and who we should be. In fact, we're bombarded with 5,000 to 10,000 of these ads daily, most of them stemming from the 7 hours of daily screen time of the average American, and 2 of those hours typically spent scrolling social media. Advertisers aren't strictly targeting adults either. A new report shows that 95% of apps for kids aged 5 and under are riddled with advertising, often without the parents' knowledge. So, what does this mean? It means that with the increase of daily ad exposure, the frequency of device and social media usage, and considerations such as the early age at which children are introduced to ads, that modern-day businesses face the challenge and responsibility of marketing ethically. However, as history has shown us, marketing and ethics haven't always lived harmoniously. In fact, in the late 1920s, businessman Edward Bernays, who was later nicknamed the father of public relations, leveraged his famous uncle Sigmund Freud's studies of psychoanalysis and human behavior to manipulate the masses. Bernays showed American corporations how to make people want things they didn't need by linking mass-produced goods to their unconscious desires. He quickly realized that simply providing factual information to the public would not gain buy-in, and instead employed psychologists to issue fake reports stating that overconsumption of products was good for you. He aimed to shape a new mentality in America, the mentality that man's desires must overshadow his needs. One of the most notorious examples of Bernays' manipulative method was put on display when he was asked by George Hill, the president of the American Tobacco Corporation, to find a way to break the stigma of women smokers. To do so, Bernays brilliantly conducted what would now be considered a publicity stunt at the 1928 Easter Day Parade on Fifth Avenue in New York City. There, he persuaded a group of rich young women to hide cigarettes under their clothes, join the parade, and on his mark, light up the cigarettes. Knowing full well what was about to transpire, Bernays tipped off the press to the stunt, suggesting that the women were young suffragettes protesting their independence using torches of freedom. He strategically paired a symbol, beautiful young women, and a catchy phrase to persuade the public that cigarettes now stood for female freedom. This quickly made women smokers socially acceptable across the US and the world, and in turn, drastically increased tobacco sales. Bernays had successfully established that he could get people to behave irrationally by linking products to their emotional desires and feelings. Though unethical, this principle still remains an integral part of brand marketing in society today. This gotta have it mentality is primarily responsible for the $90,000 average consumer debt of Americans. Many brands and banks alike shamelessly profit off people's inability to control their spending habits. If you're a crooked CEO, you love this idea. However, if you're a brand wanting to positively increase the human flourishing of your employees and your customers, it starts with putting people over profit. World-renowned author and educator Philip Kotler, who is often referred to as the father of modern marketing, said it best. A good company offers excellent products and services. A great company offers excellent products and services, but also strives to make the world a better place. To aid in the adoption of an ethical modern-day marketing framework, the American Marketing Association, the largest professional marketing association in North America, has established a widely accepted Code of Ethical Norms for the Industry. The AMA states that as marketers, we must do no harm, foster trust in the marketing system, and embrace ethical values. By actively utilizing the AMA's Code of Ethics as a lens in which to develop and grow your own brand through, you will in turn positively impact consumer perception and public opinions of your brand. Brand perception is what customers believe a product or service represents, not what the company owning the brand says it does. It comes from customer use, experience, functionality, reputation, and word-of-mouth recommendation on social media as well as face-to-face. Positive customer perceptions and public opinions are crucial to maintain as they directly affect your brand's identity, association, and overall equity. Without considering an ethical approach to your brand's marketing mix and communications, you run the risk of an absolute PR nightmare. To demonstrate the importance of an ethical marketing approach, let's take a look at major brands that failed to consider their ads' effects on the public. By critically analyzing these past disasters, we can theorize a viable solution that could have saved them millions of dollars in marketing spend and reputation damages. On April 4th, 2017, Pepsi aired a campaign entitled Live for Now, a protest-themed commercial starring supermodel Kendall Jenner. The commercial depicted Jenner departing from her fashion shoot to join an active protest in the streets, eventually pushing her way to the front of the crowd and offering a Pepsi to an officer of the opposing police line. The ad attempted to showcase Pepsi as socially relevant and politically woke, but its clever attempt to leverage the political climate and ongoing protests of Black Lives Matter was quickly berated by the public. It was labeled tone-deaf, insensitive, and met with sarcastic remarks such as, "Oh, I get it now. If BLM protesters would have handed a Pepsi to the cops, they wouldn't have been tear-gassed." With Pepsi's overarching communication objective of aligning their product positioning and brand perception with ongoing customer values and emotions, casting a rich white celebrity as the face of a politically charged ad proved problematic. Within 48 hours, the commercial was pulled off the air. Overall, the campaign was unethical, violating consumer trust, respect, and transparency. It pretended to care, posing itself in figurative protester clothes to make a quick buck selling flavored sugar water. However, it's not the first time we've seen a multinational brand attempt to use counterculture and protest movements to sell its product. In 1971, Coca-Cola's iconic "I'd like to teach the world to sing" advertisement rode the wave of flower power protests that had emerged in the opposition of the Vietnam War. So how could PepsiCo have avoided this situation altogether? There are two immediate ways that Pepsi could have taken a more ethical approach to their business objectives. First is to implement greater diversity within the ad's creative team. One comment on social media called the ad the perfect example of what happens when there's no Black people in the room when decisions are being made. By introducing a more diverse team, this would have provided a more accurate representation of the customers that consume Pepsi drinks and likely would have resulted in a more authentic and appropriate ad. Brands need to make sure that there's someone on the team who reflects the voice of the consumer. Second, Pepsi could have implemented a focus group prior to launching the ad. A focus group typically resembles a small number of people that are brought together with a moderator to focus on a specific product or topic. By utilizing a focus group, Pepsi would have gained valuable qualitative insights about their target market's opinions and outlook on the ad. Some marketing campaigns are so overtly unethical that they sidestep cleverness altogether and simply embrace lowbrow, cheap thrills. Carl's Jr. first began airing their overly sexual ads in 2005, which featured minimally clothed models and celebrities such as Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and Kate Upton. These ads used sex as their core brand identity. They targeted a male demographic majority to encourage consumer correlations between women and inanimate objects such as a fast food burger, suggesting both to be objects for male consumption. Campaigns such as this do unjustifiable harm. Not only do they perpetuate the objectification of women, but they also promote a body type that fewer than 5% of American women have to be the standard of beauty and sexuality. This campaign severely weakened Carl's Jr.'s long-term brand equity by leaving a negative perception in the minds of consumers. This was made quantifiably apparent through a 2015 consumer poll that found 52% of viewers to find the ads offensive, 51% found them irritating and annoying, and 32% of viewers feeling even worse about the chain after watching the commercials. One of the ways that Carl's Jr. could have avoided the negative impact of their ads is to elect a diverse board of directors to uphold their brand's core values and ensure that marketing initiatives meet these established ethics. Carl's Jr. states that they are committed to diversity, fair treatment, and fostering an environment that celebrates different genders, sexual orientations, beliefs, and races. However, their now former CEO, Andrew Puzder, instead defended the ads, saying, "We don't have anything to be ashamed of. We believe in putting hot models in our commercials because ugly ones don't sell burgers. I like beautiful women eating burgers in bikinis. I think it's very American." By evading public accountability and rejecting his own brand's core values, Puzder lost the trust of his employees and the public, leaving a sizable stain on the brand, followed by an abrupt resignation soon thereafter. Had Puzder employed a council of leaders within the brand who are committed to upholding company values, he could have avoided this unethical mess altogether. Unethical communications aren't always so blatantly put on display. In 2014, Bud Light aired what appeared to be a relatively harmless Super Bowl commercial. Hidden cameras captured a female actress offering a random guy a beer, asking if he'd be up for whatever. After accepting, he's led into a series of short ads featuring random events such as playing ping pong with Arnold Schwarzenegger, meeting Don Cheadle with a pet llama in an elevator, and partying on stage with OneRepublic. Though the ad itself was more humorous than harmful, the hashtag paired with the printed message of "the perfect beer for removing no from your vocabulary for the night" made for an unethical concoction. Alcohol has frequently played a role in sexual assault cases throughout history, and the chosen copy was seen as a perpetuation of rape culture by consumers. Bud Light would have greatly benefited from conducting a SWOT analysis to strategize an ethical approach prior to conducting the campaign series. In this case, conducting a SWOT analysis for the brand and campaign would have established that one of the major threats to any alcoholic brand's reputation is the unsafe nature of consuming their product irresponsibly. In these scenarios especially, consent and the word no is of the utmost importance. Using a SWOT analysis, Bud Light could have easily deducted that the campaign's copy presents a threat to their brand credibility and consumer perception by suggesting that consumers remove consent from the equation. This reinforces the notion that all brand communications should be viewed through a lens of ethical standards prior to going live. The ads themselves were entertaining and memorable, but with the unethical choice of the product's copy, the entire campaign was wasted. With nearly every decision on display thanks to the advent of social media, ethics must be the cornerstone of your brand strategy. As we observed, here are a few practical ways that we can face the challenge and responsibility of marketing ethically. First, we must implement greater diversity within project teams to increase representation, creativity, and innovation from a variety of backgrounds, experiences, and viewpoints. Second, conduct focus groups that include members of your target market in order to gather qualitative feedback and test your ads voicing against the opinions and values of your audience. Third, elect a diverse board of directors to uphold your brand's core values and ensure that marketing initiatives meet your established ethics. Your CEO is not an exception to this rule. And fourth, conduct a SWOT analysis prior to the production of your campaigns. Doing so will increase the likelihood of recognizing unethical errors before they arise. Our modern world is noisy, but if we speak up, we can secure an ethical future for our industry. After all, everyone's watching. So, we as marketers have the exciting opportunity to positively impact popular media and society as we know it. Thank you.